G'day legends, Riley here from RD Auto Electrics and welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for joining us, and today you are tuning in to episode 3 of our GQ Patrol build series. Now at this point it has been a good couple of months since we released episode number 2, but as you can see this thing is looking totally different to when you saw it last, and we've been super busy in the workshop putting in some serious hours into getting it to where it is today. So we're super excited to show you through the progress that we've made, but before we do so, we'll give you a quick look around the vehicle so you can get a good idea of how it's looking currently. So let's do it. Alrighty, so there is your quick look around the vehicle to see how it's looking now. We are so happy with how it's come up. Before we get into a little bit more of a chat about the work that we've completed, we are going to give you a bit of action footage. So we've got some video of the bar work getting made and when we're putting the suspension in. So I'll run through a quick time lapse on that so you can see a bit of our time on the tools, a bit of action footage, and then we'll have a bit more of a chat onto the time lapse now. Now, no doubt the first thing that you would have noticed is this absolute cracker of a paint job. Now, a massive thank you to my Uncle Mark for getting this paint job sorted for us. I'm honestly over the moon with how it come up. It's 10 times better than I expected. Literally, my instructions were to just sort out the clear coat peel and a few touch-ups because the driver's side on top of the guards and doors had clear coat peel along with the roof, and I got it back looking like brand new. So it's pretty much been a full closed door respray. Bonnet, roof, this whole side has been done, and now we've decided to go ahead and get the rest of it done as well, which will just be the 2 rear doors, both passenger doors and the front guard. So apart from that, the whole thing's been done. You'll notice that we got the factory flares color coded to the car as well. They've come up mint. I wasn't sure how they were going to turn out. Obviously they're black from factory, but yeah, super happy with how that color code's come up. It just ties in with the rest of the car beautifully. And the other part that we got color coded was this rear flare part. Now normally that is like a silverish sort of color, so it's not matching the rest of the vehicle. But we got that color coded to everything else just to tie it in, keep it all really nice and neat and tidy. And yeah, it's come up really good. So we just obviously went with the factory color, but yeah, I'm honestly like so stoked with how it come up. No more clear coat peel, and the clear coat that's on it now, the paint just feels absolutely beautiful. So onto our rim and tyre setup. So we've decided to run with the Yokohama Geolander MT. They ride really nicely on the road, but they bag out and grip really well off-road as well. We've already had the opportunity to get out off-road in this once and super happy with how they perform. So these are a 33 by 12.5 by 15. Was considering 35s as we discussed in episode 2, but decided to keep it a little more legal and run with 33. So obviously slightly less ground clearance than the 35, but a bit easier on the motor and the rest of the running gear running the 33s, and I've been super happy with that choice so far. Rim wise, kept it super basic, dynamic steel wheel. It's a 15x8 and it's just a D-hole model, and yeah, they look brilliant, easy to keep clean, nice and strong, so happy with those. Yeah, so that's pretty much the rim and tyre setup. There's not too much more to say about those, so let's jump into the suspension now. On to the suspension now. So in episode 2, we pretty well went into a fairly detailed description of what our plan was regarding the suspension. No doubt you can see a lot of new shiny bits under here, expensive ones as well. But yeah, it's come up really good. So we'll just run through it again. So we're running a Dobinson 3-inch coils, front and rear, the Dobinson IMS shocks, and then the rest of the gear is all Superior Engineering. So Superior Engineering, drag links, panhards. We've got the radius arms with the drop boxes in the front. We've got the upper and lower arms in the rear. We've gone with the Tough Dog steering dampener. We're running the Superior Engineering quick disconnects for our sway bars, so we can have them on when it's on road, so it's really nice and tight on the road. And then when we head off road, we can simply pull a split pin out and drop the sway bars straight out and get that real good flex. So super happy with how the suspension's all come up. We'll give you a quick look under the front and rear now, and then we'll get onto the bar work. No doubt you've noticed our sleek sliders. They've come up really good, super happy with them. So we got these fabbed up by Zach at Red Hot Engineering. He did a fabulous job. They're really solid. They're bolted around the chassis, front, middle and rear, so they're not going anywhere. These are purely here for a slider to stop sill damage. They come up exactly how I wanted, really happy with those. The fitment to the car is great. We've got them powder coated in satin black, same as the rear bar, which we'll show you shortly, and they come up a treat, so another one ticked off the list. So on to the custom rear bar now. It does have a spare tyre swing arm which goes on this pivot here. There's just a couple of things that we've had to change with that, so it's off at the moment, but yeah, we do have a spare tyre carrier that sits on an angle. You might have seen it on our socials already in a couple of photos. It looks super neat. But yeah, just a couple of small changes that we've had to get done to that one. So that's off getting sorted at the moment, but really happy with how the rear bars come up. Obviously we got it made to suit the rear quarter chop that we did. So it comes up nice and high, super tucked, really solid. We've got the double hoop on the sides to prevent any rear quarter damage. We've obviously got 2 recovery points on the rear. We did put a tow hitch on it as well. Now this isn't for towing, this is purely for our mountain bike rack. We've got the LED tail lights put into it as well, because obviously when the rear tyre swing arm is on here, it pretty well covers this driver's side tail light. So we put those in to make up for that. So they've got a park light, a stop light and an indicator. So nice and small and sleek. There's a gas strut that goes on the swing arm as well, so when it is swung in the out position, if you're on a bit of a hill or something like that, it's not going to swing back and hit the vehicle or anything like that. So, but yeah, stoked with how it come up, beautiful and tucked to the car. Clearances are all perfect. It sits nice and straight on the vehicle, and stoked with that. So thanks again to Zach from Red Hot Engineering for taking care of the rear bar and sliders. One other thing that might have caught your eye are these bad boys. We've gone ahead and organised some private plates for the GQ. Pretty self-explanatory really, GQ. Some people like them, some people don't. Personally, I quite like them, I think they're cool. Were they worth the $500? Probably not, but who knows. I wanted something a bit different, went ahead and got these, and I quite like them, so it's my car, so I guess that's all that matters. Yeah, so bit of a personal touch. So on to the other controversial modification has been this massive bonnet protector. It's definitely a lot bigger than what I was expecting. I've been told it looks like massive eyebrow, all sorts of very nice commendation. Personally, I don't know if I like it myself. Once I got the respray done, obviously they do have quite a large lip on the bonnet. that is prone to getting stone chipped. So I put this on as soon as I got it back pretty much to prevent any of that paint chipping. But yeah, it is massive, it looks huge. My thought is that once I've got the front bar on, that it'll all sort of tie in a bit better and it'll look all right. But to be honest, I'm really not that sure. So I've decided to just leave it on for now until I get the front bar on, see how it's looking, and then make a decision from there. But yeah, it's definitely caused a few disagreements. Everyone's had an opinion on it that's looked at the car, so it creates a good talking point. So I guess it served its purpose. Alrighty guys, well that pretty well wraps up this episode, and I guess you're wondering what you can expect for episode number 4. Well, hopefully we'll have all the bar work on and finished. So that will include our new front bar. We should have the rear swing arm back on the rear bar, so we can show you how that works. We will get on to installing our gauge system. So we have a JRP 14-in-1 gauge system that we're going to be putting in. So that's going to monitor everything that we need to know, such as boost, EGT, water temp, oil pressure, battery voltage, all those sort of things. And then once we've got our reliable gauge system up and running, we can start playing around with the fuel pump, as this is a fully mechanical boost compensated fuel pump. So we're able to adjust the fueling on and off boost, as well as we're going to put a boost controller in, so we're going to actually adjust the boost as well. Now this thing's completely untouched from factory. It's still got the metal cap on the fuel screw, so it's literally never been touched or tuned. So we're not going to do anything too hectic with it. Just a few small adjustments to try and get a little bit more power out of it. We didn't want to start playing around with any of that until we had a really good gauge system in it, so we could monitor all our temps and everything, so we could make sure we're doing everything safely and within spec. So getting the gauge system in will be the first step, and then once we've got that in, we can then get on to adjusting a little bit of the fueling. And that should pretty much cover episode number 4, I reckon, because that'll take a bit of time. And then after that, we're going to get stuck into the rear setup. So that's going to be the draw system, power system, onboard air and water, fridge, all those camping goodies. Clock is ticking. Obviously, we have to have this thing ready for November for the Perth four-wheel drive show. We're going to have this thing on display, so you can all come and check it out in the flesh, those of you that are in WA. And we've also got a trip to do up north, beginning of September for a couple of weeks. And I'm really hoping that I'll have the patrol done by then so I can actually take it on that trip. So fingers crossed on that one. But that wraps up this episode, guys. Thanks again so much for joining us and for supporting the channel. We'll catch you on the next episode.